business.
Well, let's move on now to Common Core. Kentucky was the first state to adopt it. Now, 5 years later, I've got 4 boys actually in K through 12. Some of their teachers like it and how it provides this guidance for them. Others can't stand it. In your view, what are the strengths and weaknesses of Common Core, and do we even need national standards for states? Matt?
No, we don't need national standards for states. It's fantastic in theory. So too is socialism, and so are other things that look good on paper but don't work in real life. Kentucky is not the same as California. It's not the same as Indiana. It's not the same as Massachusetts or anywhere else. We have our own independent needs. The Fordham Institute has long studied this issue in a nonpartisan way. They've looked at what states have done a good job. Massachusetts, interestingly, long before the implementation of Common Core standards, had the highest test results for both math and language arts. Why would we not hold something like that up as our model? Why would we not aspire to be the best? Not trying to come up with a one-size-fits-all, given the fact that no educators, with 2 exceptions, were even involved in the creation of this standard. The reality is it's not a curriculum. But the company that makes the money from testing, the company that is driving our teachers to distraction through auditing and through testing, that's driving our children and their parents to distraction as a result of this frequent testing process, the very same company that gets paid every time one of your children gets tested, happens to be the largest producer of curriculum in this country. Pearson's happens to get paid for the testing. Oh, and coincidentally, they happen to be the largest producer of textbooks. If you don't think the 2 of those are going to coincide and create a monopoly on the back of your children, you're kidding yourselves. This is one of the reasons, among the fact also that it's not a standard worthy of emulation relative to other things that we could do. I believe in local control, local school boards, principals, superintendents, teachers, and parents making the decision for their children.
Jack?
Well, I believe in local control, too. But I'm also a little sick and tired of all this rhetoric about what the Kentucky Core Standards are and what they are not. I mean, the Kentucky Core Standards were developed at the local level. They were developed here in Kentucky. Kentucky was one of the first states to actually adopt them. This is not some federal overreach, as a lot of people on the other side of the aisle try to claim. Now, look, if we need to tweak the Kentucky Core Standards, let's tweak them. But the core standards are focused on science, technology, mathematics, trying to make certain that our students are college and career ready. And Scott, since we adopted the Kentucky Core Standards just a few years ago, you know what we've seen? We've seen college and career readiness in the state, those markers go from 31% to 62%. Additionally, if we were to throw the baby out with the bathwater and throw the Kentucky Core Standards out, it would cost the Commonwealth of Kentucky $35 million in reimplementation that we don't have. So I'm amused to sit up here and listen to someone talk about the Kentucky Core Standards when, in fact, he holds a major stake in a business that actually supplies schools with IT technology and with software that claims that it upholds the Common Core Standards.
So does that mean you're for it or against it?
I'm for it, but I'm for local control, Matt. And I think you do a disservice when you say what it is.
In response to your response, the reality is they're not the Kentucky Core Standards. They're the Common Core state standards. That was the question we were asked about. It's a one-size-fits-all. We embraced it here in Kentucky before the standards were even written. We embraced these standards because we thought we were going to race to the top. We thought we were going to get some free money from the federal government. Kentucky does this too often. When I'm the governor of this state, we're not going to chase every federal dollar that's waved under our nose by the EPA or the Department of Education or anyone else trying to get us to do things that are not in our best interest as a state. We're going to stand on our own state sovereignty, and we're going to do what's best for Kentucky, not what's best for some bureaucrat who's unelected in Washington, D.C.